Good afternoon and welcome to Get Ready for 2020, an introduction to voter education and registration assistance project. This program is sponsored by the WLA Library Development and Legislation Committee and being live streamed out to the greater cosmic library universe. Let me introduce you to the members of our panel. You can give the royal wave as I say your names. Durchslag and Yolan Mistele are both members of the League of Wisconsin Women Voters Northwoods Chapter Voter Services Committee, which developed the Voter Education and Registration Assistance Project tools for use in libraries. Laurie Ollhoff is Assistant Director at T.B. Scott-Free Library in Merrill, one of the locations that piloted the voter registration tools that you will be learning about today. And my name is Kris Wendt. I'm a consultant with the Wisconsin Valley Library Service who was absolutely delighted to discover the Voter Education and Registration Assistance Project as a new member of the Northwoods chapter of the League, and to be in a position to be able to provide linkage to the greater library community. Before we start, I'd like to ask you to jot down your questions that occur to you as we make our presentation, and we'll be saving the question and answer period for the last 10-15 minutes of the slide. Okay, all right, so Yolan's going to lead off.
Can everybody hear me all right? Okay. Welcome today. We are so honored to have been asked to present this program here at WLA. We thank Kris, who is a member of the WLA's Legislative Committee. So thank you very much for the opportunity to explain to you what we've done. Pleased to be speaking to all of you here in the Dells and also those of you that are online. I'm going to explain a little bit about what is the League of Women Voters. There are 3 levels of the League. There's the National League, that's at the top. There's a State League, and then there are local chapters. I'm a former teacher librarian, and I retired to the Northwoods. And I was looking around for some kind of a project or opportunity to continue learning and teaching. And I found a group of at-large members of the League. At that time, they were only members of the national and state organizations. They didn't have a local, so they were at-large members. But they were working on promoting education about issues and about the candidates who were running in our community. In fact, my earliest notes that I found on my computer were for a meeting in August of 2011 when they were coming up with a informational forum on mining and on a candidate forum for the Senate and Assembly people that were running in our district. So that fit my bill as far as joining an organization. The state and national leagues have been long in existence, and in fact, they're going to reach their 100th birthday next year. So they've been around for quite a while. Our local league was formed in 2013, so we're relatively young compared to the other levels of league. On this slide, you'll see the circles with numbers are where there are leagues in the state of Wisconsin. We are number 12 up at the top there, and on the other map are the 6 counties that we serve. The league in Wisconsin has been growing. Lots of members, new leagues have been added since our league joined in 2013, and established leagues are enlarging their areas. For example, the league up at the top there, number 2, used to be known as ABC, Ashland-Bayfield Counties. They now have added Sawyer County to the south there as new members have become very interested in participating. Another example is number 17, which is the Upper St. Croix Valley League. They have added the St. Croix County, so they will probably be changing their name to the St. Croix Valley League. And one other example I'll tell you is down in the south there, there's a circle without a number in it. That's Waukesha County. They are a branch of Milwaukee County at this point in time. So we are growing in membership. And I think that the reason that we are growing in members is that we are grassroots, nonpartisan political organization. And let me spell out a little bit more about what that means. Grassroots means we welcome anyone to our organization. Any age, any background, anything, anyone, from men and women. We do have lots of men in our group. In fact, we just added our third student, high school student, to our membership, so we're really proud of that. Nonpartisan means that we do not support or oppose any candidate for any political office at any level of government. We also do not support or oppose any political party. But we are political when it comes to issues. Issues are, gotta get my notes out, sorry. Issues are really important to us. We have position statements on all kinds of issues, and those are developed by doing research, exploration, study. Among our members, we discuss, debate, until we come to consensus. And then that position is developed, and that's how we act, based upon what that position has been developed. We want to be informed, we want ourselves to be informed, along with the general public, and we want to be able to participate together in government. Our mission, as you see there, is empower voters, defend democracy. You may have seen that on a previous slide for the national site. They have it up in front and right there in front of them. Our ultimate goal is to develop a democracy in which everyone has the desire, right, knowledge, and confidence to participate. One of the most basic values about democracy is voting. So we're very into having voting rights established for everyone. These list all of the principles that we feel are important having to do with voting rights. And in fact, our personal league, that was one of our first activities that we did along with the forums, is to go out to high schools in our area and register new voters. Things have changed though since we first started. We used to be able to take a paper registration form, help the students fill it out, and then we'd get a copy of their proof of residence, and then we'd mail it for them or take it to the town clerks to get them registered. And we used to have people that were appointed as special registration deputies. They could help the students fill out the paper form and just sign it, and then they'd be done after looking at their proof of residence. Those are no longer in existence. The other thing that has changed is that the state has now provides an online site called My Vote Wisconsin that allows people to register to vote, and includes lots of other voting information like where's your clerk, where do you go to vote, when are elections. You can also request absentee ballots on that site, so it's a very good site. However, if you don't have a driver's license, a valid driver's license or state ID, it becomes a little bit more complicated. The other thing that we did as a league, we wanted to open up our voter registration activities to the general public. So we tried all different things, different times of the day. On Saturdays, we go out to public libraries. Mistele College was a place that we went. We went to farmers markets, food pantries, outside the grocery stores. But we found that we were not reaching enough people, especially those that are underserved or underrepresented as the ones that are shown there. So that's when we started looking around the state to see what other leagues were doing in other organizations. And now I'm going to hand it over to Debra, who will talk to you about that a little bit more, and then explain the Voter Education Registration Assistance Program.
Thank you, Yo. Did everybody pick up the handouts? Can you hear me okay on the chair back there? Okay, there's 3 handouts for you back there. Also, just thank you to the audiences who are here and for this wonderful opportunity to share what we feel is just a really important program to get ready for 2020 elections. So as Yo said, as we started as a new league, we were looking to see what other leagues were doing, and Milwaukee County League has just been registering for so long, and they've been in the high schools, and so that was a place where we spent a lot of time observing how they were reaching their high school students. and they would train assistants to work with them. And so they had training materials, they had resource materials, and their work has just evolved in the few years that we've been up and running. And so I will get to that in a moment for you, but we found really good educational materials from the Milwaukee County, and we learned that, oh, so the Milwaukee County League collaborates with the Milwaukee Elections Commission and the Milwaukee Public Schools. We go, great, you know, that's the way it should be. And then I heard about Kenosha County, the city of Kenosha, their city library and their city clerk started working together and providing another location for patrons or just members, you know, to come into the city and to get help with their registration questions and to teach. And in the conversations I had with them, they were so generous with everything. They said, you know, well, we're really information specialists, so this is really where people should come, you know, to find answers at. You can always go to your clerk, but I was thrilled that when I heard that information specialist, I go, aha. Then trying to drive the populace into the library, especially those underserved, underrepresented, the people that are really hard to get, if they're coming into the libraries, we can capture them. And so we basically began in the fall of 2017, so 2 years ago, that's all, meeting at the Tomahawk Library. And we took the materials from Milwaukee and Kenosha, and I'll explain that to you. And we got input from that library director who had a real good background on that. And last July, we began to roll out the what we call VERAP, the Voter Education and Registration Assistance Program, and which is a collaborative program with libraries to promote voter registration and education for all adults. Now, these are our resources, okay? The handouts you have are resources, but the VERAP program, let me see this. No, I didn't think that's work. So we have this instructional notebook, this simplified instructional notebook, and this staff, can you see that? And the staff resource notebook. Okay, so those are the 3 notebooks that the program has. We also have your 4 handouts and 2 online voter registration tutorials, and then we provided one-on-one training. So let me just very quickly run you through these pieces of education. So the resource notebook, the table of contents, basically this is something where it's tabbed and it covers basic voter registration, online voter registration, we also call that OVR, the online voter registration, paper registration, voter photo ID requirements, general voter information, and helpful resources. And that is just adapted from and expanded from Milwaukee County. So thank you to Milwaukee County. And then the next 2, let me go, is our large instructional notebook. And that large instructional notebook has 3 parts to it. The yellow part has the directions for the online voter registration. And then the second section, which is, let me see if I have any, this here, is the green, is working with the Department of Motor Vehicles, and I'll explain that in a moment. And the third and the last part is the good old-fashioned manual voter registration. Okay, so those are the 3 parts of the instructional notebook. The first part is with myvote.org, where you just go online with a driver's license, current valid driver's license, and register to vote or re-register to vote. And the reason we have the Department of Motor Vehicles is because the Wisconsin Election Commission, all of this material is basically just screenshots off of the Wisconsin Elections Commission. They've seen all these materials, they know about all these materials, you know, so they're aware of them. So the Wisconsin Election Commission corresponds with the Department of Motor Vehicles, and they work together to check who you are, who you say you are when you go ahead to register to vote. So this is what the large instructional manual has. And that second part of the Department of Motor Vehicles is people come to register and they don't have their driver's license, so you don't have to send them away, but we have instructions for finding it because you need to use your driver's license as your proof of residence. If you've moved and you haven't changed your address, then you can change that online at the DMV, and then you can go back to My Vote and re-register to vote because you've moved. This here is the good old-fashioned manual voter registration and the form, and I just got an email right before this meeting is that they're changing it again. You know, it's just like, I mean, and now there's going to be a webinar for us to learn for the league what to do with it. So we've just updated it in 10/18, and now it's going to be done again. So, but this one you use, and you mail in your voter registration, your proof of residence. Then the very simple notebook, the beauty of this one is how to register to vote on My Vote. Go back here. So are you already registered? Step one tells you what you need. Am I eligible? Are you a citizen? Are you not a felon, not on papers? Are you 18 years old? Okay, those kind of questions. And then when they verify your name, that goes to the motor vehicle. They verify your name, your birth date, and then they verify your address. And then if all of that matches, you're basically registered to vote, and it goes right to your municipal clerk, and we say print and save a copy of that or email it to yourself. So this is the simple notebook. If you're computer literate and just literate and you can read this, then these are very simple tools to use. But I think oftentimes the underrepresented and underserved are a little bit more difficult, and they might need a little bit more assistance. These are, let me just go back one and say, if you choose to use this program, what librarians told us up in the Northwoods was that they just put on their home screen, the home page, the links to My Vote and the DMV, so that nobody had to go and find them. They could just click on that button and they always could go back to My Vote or always go to the DMV. All right, so these were the two learning tools we used. Both the Wisconsin League put together a really good online voter registration PowerPoint you can use, and then the WEC is the Wisconsin Elections Commission has a video that you can go through. And then basically your handouts, I'm going to just whip through those, but when we rolled this program out, we wanted to make sure that whoever in the library was going to take a look at these materials, they would know how to use them, and that these materials work together as a package. So that was our project. It's gotten bigger and away from us, but I felt it was important enough to share with you so that as you go back to your libraries, you see what the agreement was between us and the library, what the primary goal was, what the league would provide, and then what the library would do. So that's the agreement. and that's this document. The second document you have is got on one side the VERAP goal and objectives, and what we did was we turned those objectives into a checklist because we wanted to make sure that whoever was going to be working with the public would have an idea of what they should have some level of comfort with, or where they could quickly go and find the information they needed, whether they used the resource notebook or they went online to the hyperlink. I saw as I went and I updated books this summer that these documents were just kept in the pockets of the resource notebook so that they were always visible. You can use them or not, but they're there. And then the last piece is this brochure that again comes from Milwaukee County. It's just wonderful. It goes through everything basically you need to be able to know to register, to vote, and to get absentee ballot, get more information, who can vote, how do I vote, all of that. So, right, so let me see here. So now I'm just going to run through how we rolled out VERAP, how we rolled the program out. We sent letters to all of the library, these 9 libraries in 5 of our 6 counties that we serve in. We then followed up phone calls, sent them links to the materials because all of these are on our website. We said, we'll come in, we'll train you. We need about 45 minutes to an hour. If everybody goes through the materials, it'll go quicker. You can ask your questions. And by September, all of the libraries had them. And then later on in the year, we were able to get the enrollment office of the Lactus Lambo tribe to take on our materials. And I'll show you some pictures of those. And then this summer, we evaluated the program and also updated probably about 25 sheets of the big instructional book and the resource notebook. So let me just see. So I just have a couple of pictures that I'll show you. This was the tribal office, and here's the simplified notebook. There they have my vote up on the screen. Here's the resource book. And they put the big instructional notebook just in a 3-ring binder, which others have done. Here's the big instructional notebook. Here's the resource notebook at another library. Here's another library. They had the brochures out, the 2 flip notebooks, but they had a dedicated computer. Here, another library had them up on a shelf so that patrons could see them. Here, this was reference areas where they had brochures, flip book, the big book, and we found that these were basically the areas that we tried to evaluate on, and I think the most important thing was that patrons could use these. The notebook assisted staff in answering questions. The training was very effective. It contributed to the library's mission and goals having this program, but what happened was that there was nobody included a voter registration question when updating library cards or changing addresses or changing names on these. So I would say that's a wonderful opportunity, and I think Laurie might talk a little bit more about that, and I'm going to just turn it over to Laurie at this point. Thank you.
Thank you, Debra. So we were excited to offer this opportunity to patrons in our area. It's something I feel strongly about. The elections are an opportunity for you to have your voices heard. And so when we were approached by the League of Women Voters to do this, we were happy to do that. As far as the training that took place, it was the director and myself both sat and received that training, and then we did some follow-up training then with our staff, at staff meetings for the individuals that were working at the adult reference desk and would be in contact with individuals that would be interested. What you have on the screen are the images of where we have it displayed on our 3rd floor, and this basically is directly as you come up from our stairway, so that the individuals, patrons coming into the library can see them immediately, and then they have the opportunity to talk with our adult reference staff and get the information they need to get themselves registered. We reviewed this material with our staff regularly because it's information that they are not always using, and we want them to be comfortable with that. In the process, what I did find out is that in order for individuals to become aware of this material in my library, we needed to make sure that we got the word out. So that's one big piece that I strongly feel you need to be aware of. The minute you hide things, you put things away, people forget about them quickly. So we had the information out. Things got shuffled around in the library a bit, and we needed to bring them out and put them in a different place, places where people would see them as something new, draw their attention to them. And we also developed some signs. We use what we call Canva for a lot of our flyers and brochures. It is an online graphics program. It is available, there's a free version. There is also the ability to request an advanced version from Canva for public libraries, so I encourage you to do that. It gives you a few more bells and whistles when you're creating those materials. And we took this opportunity to promote this resource to our community. We used it through Facebook posts. I have it through my the Twitter account. I use Twitter. I also use now Instagram. So a lot of these materials I make sure that I put out to the social media as best I can. For those of our patrons that are not online, and we have quite a few, I also have created the flyers that I have posted throughout our area. We have organizations and businesses that offer us spaces to do that. So those are some of the materials that you will see on the screen that I have used. You'll also see that I have included links to those materials, which will offer you the opportunity to use those templates for your own library. I've said it several times already during this conference, the whole idea that we're working smarter and not harder. And I have those materials, and I always like the opportunity to share with others to make that possible. I've enjoyed the opportunity to do this, and we talked quite a bit about the fact that the evaluation part, making sure that you are constantly changing it up, making sure that people become aware of it so that they can be civically engaged through this opportunity. And that is a big mission, that is part of our mission statement at our library. Kris?
Yep, I think mine's next, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, I've got my own, so I'm good. All right, so as I mentioned in my introduction, I'm a relatively new member of the Northwoods chapter of the League of Wisconsin Women Voters and the Voter Services Committee. And during the past 4 or 5 months, my contribution to the project has been to get the word out by providing linkage between the League and libraries, not only in the WVLS area, but throughout the state. So this is what I know. I know that 7 of the 9 libraries in the original Northwoods League pilot project were located in WVLS member counties. Sherry Sanderson happens to be here from one of the Vilas County libraries, and along with Laurie, you can talk to her after the program, and she can talk about the way that she used this in her small library. WVLS has since expanded the VERAP project to all of its member libraries. Deb came down to Wausau with me for the Sirlaw meeting on August 2nd, and we met with Marla ahead of time, and we showed her the tools, and Marla said, okay, let's do this. And so WVLS paid for the duplication of all of the tools so that we could install it in the remaining 26 library locations in our 7 counties, including the 8 branches for the Marathon County Public Library. So we met Marla, that 2019 Librarian of the Year, still wrong way, good, okay. I have to take this opportunity to do that, you know? Okay, all right, so just to speed this up just a little bit, when we did our duplication, we did not use the large tent-like thing for the binder for the public. We just put it into another 3-ring binder because it was easier for us to distribute. And if your system or public library, academic library, school library, whatever, is interested in duplicating tools, in particular, if you're interested in knowing the cheapest place to get the small stand that looks like it ought to be a dessert menu in a restaurant, that's because it is a dessert menu holder for a restaurant supply place. Just get in touch and we'll tell you how to do that. We do have under development a tutorial, a webinar thought in Wisconsin Valley, and as soon as we get our act together on that, we'll let you know what's going on. And there are other tools that are out there, bookmarks and stuff, that we're in the process of gathering and bringing in and making our own. So we have hopes that this will be exported around the state. If a league chapter in your area is interested in this project, please have them contact Debra and Yolan. And if you're interested in knowing anything about how we distribute these things at WVLS, get in touch with me. And the best thing is that the league is going to do the updates and let us know when things need to be changed. And as we expand, we will figure out how to make that happen in other places in the state as well. So that's my part.
Who's going to finish up?
Are we going to do questions and answers now?
Yeah, did you have one more slide? Or
Well, I'm just going to.
Okay, great. So time for questions. I'll bring the microphone to you. Who's interested in saying something, asking something? Okay.
I just want to make sure that I understood this clearly. So when they fill out the form online, do they have to mail it to the clerk, or does it go emailed to the clerk? Can they send it out?
So you're saying when somebody goes online to
When you said about the steps.
it's all online. If they have their Wisconsin driver's license with them, then this is my vote. And you start out here, register to vote, and it just automatically emails to the clerk. So it goes to the WEC, and how it gets to the clerk, I'm not sure. But a couple nights ago, the Lincoln County clerk was just very grateful that they had 1,250 registrations for the 2018 election, and said, oh, we were so glad that so many were done ahead of time online. So if you don't have your driver's license, you can still do this, but then you print it out with a copy of your proof of residence, and there are numerous ones, and that's what you find in here, and then you either mail or deliver it to them. Does that answer your question? Okay.
So hi, I'm assistant director, and we run a print shop. We would be more than happy to print, 17 copies of whatever for our 17 member library locations. So my question is, do I need a partnership with my local league, who I'm not currently connected with, but I could get connected with, or can I just work with the existing group? How do we get this done?
How do you get it done? Not on.
How do I get the ball rolling?
Okay, how to get the ball rolling? We have all of the materials on our website. Here. I'm just using a mouse. I got to go back to this thing over here. Okay. On our voter information page, we have all the materials that are available, and there's a link to it, and you can. Oh, here. I think if we do it, there's a link down further on this page that has all the materials: the VERAP resource notebook, the instructional notebook, and then the simplified notebook.
2, 3.
Yeah.
And
So you just click on those. They're PDF documents, so you can print them out as is. If you want to make changes for whatever reason, feel free to contact us, or if you know how to open up a PDF document and edit, feel free to do that as well.
Okay. So if my local league is not involved, that's okay, that doesn't matter.
That's fine,
Right.
yeah.
and just
If you want assistance, if you don't understand the registration process and the problems that might occur, you might want to get a league member to help you with that at first.
And then I'll just say that right here, you can find out more about the program, or let me just go back here. And then the training tools are here. So everything other than the updates are on this page. Here's the brochure.
Well,
What's that?
the current updates are on the website.
Right,
As
right.
well, below there.
Yeah, so everything is current. So everything is current.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Until the next change.
Until the end of the month.
And Bradley, if you want to look at the white and the black binders that are up there on the stand, those are the ones that don't get arrested. And we use sheet protectors, and you can see how we try to reduce the paper and the thickness of it by putting things it's like two to a page protector instead of just one, and but take a look at that. Okay.
I'm just wondering, there's a coalition of voting organizations in Green Bay, and the league is part of it, among others. And so we've been partnering with them to do voter registration events at our libraries. And one of our board members was searching the website and found that one of the organizations had taken a donation from something they consider a left-leaning group, and now we can't do them anymore. Do you have advice for verifying that this is nonpartisan, that registering people to vote is a nonpartisan action, and that there is no hidden agenda as has been brought up? The league is nonpartisan, you said.
Yes. Yes, the league. You're going to go back here. The league is a nonpartisan organization at all levels. So, and voting is really a nonpartisan activity. And registering to vote is nonpartisan. So I'm not sure why they were upset with that, but it's too bad.
Is there someone like at the state level that we could talk to get more information or put them in contact with?
You probably could contact Erin Grunzy, who is the director of the state league, and she could help you, I'm sure.
Answer questions.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because they've been really successful events, and we want to continue our partnership with them. It's unfortunate that.
Right. That is too bad.
Yeah.
But their league took money?
Was it the league that took money? Or?
No, it's called COVO. It's the Coalition of Voting Organizations.
Okay.
It's for all of Brown County. And COVO took a donation from something that the board considered a left-leaning group.
Yep.
So just, I was going to add something myself, but to speak to that, because, very, very important topic in terms of libraries in general, very important topic in society in general, so thank you so much for the presentation. I'm an elected official in Racine County, and in Racine County, we're getting to do some really exciting things around elections and voter registration and actual voting in our library. But so we talk about, many of us talk about voter registration as a nonpartisan activity because it should be a nonpartisan activity. But the reality is it's not a nonpartisan activity. The reality is the more people who vote, the more democratic leaning voter turnout you have. And people in power, whether they're on any side of the dichotomy, recognize this. So you will get pushback. We've certainly gotten pushback. I've been parts of other organizations. I was part of an event at the United Way where they, I would say, discriminated against an organization and said, you can't have a presence here because you're going to register people to vote. So what I would say to a situation like that is what we as libraries, we're all about policy, right? And elections, we're all about policy. So I would say just establish a policy that has an objective standard to it. And the objective standard in this, when we're talking about nonpartisan, everything that is a 501c3 is obligated by law to be nonpartisan. So I don't know the group that you're talking about, but my guess would be they're a 501c3, which is a government objective standard that says this is not a left-leaning group. You cannot discriminate against them because the government has already predetermined that they are eligible to do this work that they're doing. So that would be my recommendation for that. The one thing that I was going to say myself is Racine Public, one other thing that we've done in terms of voter expansion and engagement is we have, we're an early voting site at this point, so 2 weeks out before the election. And anyone who would be interested in doing that, I would just say, connect with your municipality on that.
Thank you. We've got 4 minutes left, so I can hurry over here to Cindy.
Okay, so now I work with DPI, and it's actually on my radar to create a voter guide to share with everybody across the state to be exactly what you're saying, nonpartisan. The only hold up right now is I'm determining if DPI is putting this out or if I'm doing it in conjunction with Governor Ever's office, and I just need to answer that. But something will be out that will be like a landing page. You'll just put the link on your home site or share it via social media. That's going to be so much like just connect to my votes and whatever the easy links are. Basically, you've done our work for us. But DPI will give you the state-sanctioned 100% nonpartisan. This is just factual. That's coming, and I apologize that it's not there yet. We're working on a census now instead. Now I'm going to wear another hat, which is the trustee of the Madison Public Library. Is anyone else here from Madison? Yay! So I just learned about a really cool thing they're doing. Madison Public teamed up with the municipal clerk in Madison, and you can now register at a library with just your library card because you needed a photo ID and proof of residence to get that card in the first place. So you can go do that now. And I'm just going to say, you have to explore that locally with your local clerk, but how powerful is that? So let's get our people voting.
Thank you for sharing that. That's excellent. Yes.
Okay. How are we going to make time? 3 minutes. Okay. Anybody else? Josh, 3 minutes.
This question is very practice for Laurie. In the library, with Michael stuff and just all of the materials that you have out, do you keep that out year-round? Do you keep that out seasonally? Do you promote it seasonally, but it's still available year-round? How do you deal with that over the course of the whole year?
We have it out all the time. But what I've done is I've started moving it. It migrates throughout my library, so it's not in the same place all the time. Because someone will walk in one area of the library more often than the other, and they'll catch it there. Where I have another patron that will walk to another part of the library, so I will make sure that I will have it displayed there. We have patrons that never go beyond the second floor. It's our youth services floors where we have our large print selection, our CD collection, our DVD collection. So at some point, that display will migrate to the second floor, and that's where it will be. Directing them always to go to the third floor because that is where we have the staff that is familiar with it and can assist them if they need that assistance. But that is the deal, to make it's mobile, and so I can move it around.
Yeah, and Laurie's in a larger library, a small library, it would be more physical no matter where you put it, but the problem with the smaller library is that you need a permanent display area, which is probably real estate that you don't have.
Laurie and Sherry, how are you reaching the 18-year-olds in high schools, the ones who just turned 18? Are you able to connect with them?
Right now, we have not gone beyond just having it available in our library, outside of the fact that I have the flyers available in the area businesses and some of the coffee shops where where the high schoolers would go. We have 2 coffee shops in town, and I make sure that I have those flyers there, and they frequent them. So beyond that, we have not, but that is definitely something that we are working towards.
How are we doing for time? I think that's the 1 minute thing.
Could I just say one thing? Okay. Just a really big thank you from all of us for your attendance, either here in the room personally or the webinar.
Out there in the cosmos.
Out there in the cosmos. And just what we learned from Laurie is that you have to really advertise the project digitally, newsletters, posters in your library. And I really think if you can selectively look at who are those patrons where you yearly update their library card. You know, I went to our library the other day and I go, well, you need to prove your residence. What do you use? She goes, a driver's license. And I had just read about what Dane County was doing. So I go, oh, this is great. Maybe we can do that if all the libraries. So their system must work together with that library system. So we're making progress, but my hope is one day we can burn them all because it'll be, you know, automatic voter registration. But thank you, and please contact us, and we'll share.
Thank you.